Hello, we're back. Today we're going to talk about experience, learning, and stats. One of the unique things about Dragon Realms that I really like is how the experience works and how you learn different skills works. A lot of games you get kind of pigeonholed into that if you're a magic user, you wear robes, and there's certain weapons you cannot use. In Dragon Realms, you can be a mage wearing full plate, you can be a paladin wearing leather. It's really what you want to use with that character. Now, certain guilds get bonuses to certain types of armor or weapons. Like rangers generally use leather because it's light, it's more stealthy, and we can actually work down the ranks. When I talk about working down ranks, if I appraise my leathers, you'll see that if I was wearing this, I'd be lightly hindered, and my stealth would be fairly hindered. But considering everything, I am somewhat hindered, and stealth is somewhat hindered. That's because I'm wearing more than just these leathers. But over time, you can actually work this down to a certain amount based on how many ranks of that skill you have. Which brings me to the actual skills themselves. If you type EXP, I'm not really learning anything. Okay, so EXP alone just brings up what you currently have in your learning state. There's multiple different skill sets, such as weapons, armor, magic, survival, lore, and each guild has certain sets of those skills that they're better at. So, example, a ranger is a survival primary, means that they get a bonus to how fast they learn stuff in the survival pool. To pull up see what survival skills are, we're going to type EXP SUR for the abbreviation. If I do this, I don't think anything's going to come up. Oh, perception's going to come up because I'm learning a little bit of that. What you need to do is if you type EXP survival and hit 0, it's going to show all your stats that have more than 0 or 0 or more, so pretty much everything in that area. So as you can see, all these skills are all in my survival tree. You could also type EXP armor, and I'm going to put 0 in there as well. And you can see how much different of the armor skills I have. So like I was saying, just because you're in a certain guild, like this character is a barbarian, you can see that a little bit of brigadine or brig is quite high. Also a little bit of chain, a little bit of plate, and I think that's just what I got from joining the guild when the guild leader taught me a little bit of stuff. Another thing about how skills work in this game is whatever you work on is what you get. So if you're swimming, swimming falls under the athletics skill, so we'll go EXP athletics. And you can type in individual skills like this. I abbreviated it, and it will show you what comes up for that. So if the more I swim or climb, the more athletic skills I'm going to get. So just because you're circle 10 doesn't mean you can't have 200 ranks of one skill. That's a huge disparity. I mean, that would be an incredibly rare situation. But just because you're a certain circle doesn't mean you can't have a really high skill in one. What will happen is generally you have a character and you might be 10th circle working on your 11th. You might have enough certain skills for circle 30 based on what your guild requires. Also, you're going to notice how there's two different states, or 3 different states really. There's the first number. This is how many ranks in that skill you have. Then there's a percentage. That's how far, how much experience you've earned towards your next whole rank. And then there's this thing that says clear, and it also has a 0 to 34. What this is how much you've kind of got processing in your brain. So if I'm going to forage for collect rock. So, oops, let me go to the path and maybe I can collect there. Okay, so now I've done this, and you can see that I learned a little bit of perception, a little bit of outdoorsmanship. And also you notice how the numbers went up. So let me type in EXP survival. This is only showing my survival skills that are currently loading because I just put in survival. If I type EXP, that's just all my skills that I'm learning a little bit. So this slowly, this 2 out of 34, the 1 out of 34, slowly gets put into this percentage. It's kind of like your active learning, and this slowly drains down into this percentage. Then as the percentage goes up and it gets to the next full number, then this resets back down to 0, but you can still have learning. So this, theoretically, I could have just gotten a new rank in perception because I was mind locked 34 out of 34 in perception, and it's still slowly draining down, putting more into my perception skill. Which, as far as I know, I've never really played another game that's how it works. So at first it can be a little bit confusing as that works, but as you continue, whoops, I'm going to collect rocks again. As you continue to work your skills up, see now it went up to 3 out of 34, and then if I just kept on doing it, eventually it would be mind locked. Once it hits mind locked, you can still continue doing the action, which is learning the skill. You just won't be getting more experience than what mind locked is. I believe it's every 2 minutes this will pulse and it will go down. Now that's based on experience pools. If I type in, we'll type in INT for intelligence, you'll see my intelligence is 16 and WIS for wisdom, and wisdom is 16. And it'll tell you a little bit more about each one when you do this, and that's why I did that. You can also type info, but that gives you even more information. It might be a little bit confusing at first. They affect, and actually I should really raise my discipline. I've been just messing around with this character, so these are not how I would recommend training your stats. Discipline is very important. It also it affects a lot of things, so that's pretty low. You want to bring that up. So the more wisdom you have, the bigger your pool is, how much you can hold in your brain at one time before you get mind locked. And intelligence is how much of that pool. A lot of people use the bucket mentality. How big the hole in the bottom of the bucket is would be intelligent, and wisdom would be how big the bucket is that you can feed water into. And then as the water drains out of the bucket, it goes down into solid ranks. Hopefully this made it a little more clear about how the experience works, because it's a little bit different than most games. You just get experience, and when you get enough experience, you get your next level or circle. Another thing, I've mentioned this in other videos, if you type help after a command, you get a lot of information for most, well, if there's multiple things to do, if you type in help, it will tell you. Now, one of the cool things about DragonRealms is that it's very roleplay based. So you can type EXP RP and it will tell you in a in-character way of how much skill you have in something. So I'll type EXP, you can type EXP all and you get all your experience. EXP RP all, and it will list out where I am. So you can see plate armor, I'm a lowly novice. Defending, I'm a competent practitioner. And this is an in-character way to talk about how much skill you have in something. So, because really, if me and you were sitting down saying, how good are you at whatever it is, sewing, you'd be like, oh, well, you know, I've got 6 ranks of sewing. It doesn't really make sense. This gives it a different way to be able to talk about it in an in-character way. And to kind of get an idea what that means, if you go EXP, I might be wrong about this, RP help, it gives you an idea of how many ranks are required to get the different things. So a lowly practitioner would be between 50 and 59 ranks. A promising practitioner would be between 60 and 69 ranks of C. So you take whatever this one is and you add those together, and that gives you a skill range of where you are. All right, this video is taking a little bit longer than I wanted to, so see you next time.